Center of Pittsburgh. We're delighted to have you here with us today. Please join me in stating our vision and mission statement with me. We envision a spiritually awakened world flowing with divine love. We are an inclusive, loving community dedicated to teach, inspire, and practice positive, spiritual living. I'm Robin Walsh. I'll be your service leader today. Maryann Hackworth is with us to be the speaker. And now, Marco Reed and Mila Shadle will lead us in a song, Shambhala. Feel free to stand, enjoy, sing along.
Wash away my troubles, wash away my pain with the rain and Shambhala. Wash away my sorrow, wash away my shame with the rain and Shambhala. Everyone is helpful, everyone is kind on the road to Shambhala. Everyone is lucky, everyone is so kind on the road to Shambhala. Tell my sister by the flowers in her hair on the road to Shambhala. I can tell my brother by the flowers in his hair on the road to Shambhala.
Thank you, Marco and Mila. Let's all center ourselves for our opening prayer, closing our eyes, feeling our feet on the floor, knowing we are deeply supported by the Mother Earth, releasing any tension with our next exhalation, and making the commitment to be fully present with ourselves, with each other, and with divine presence now. And so it is. We have another song now, The Face of God.
You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Thank you. What a beautiful reminder. And let's keep holding that in our heart as I light the unity candle, a reminder of oneness. The same light. One light within us all. And if you would join me in reading the unity principles and opening so that they flow the whole way down through the heart as well. God is the source and creator of all. There is no other enduring power. God is good and present everywhere. We are spiritual beings created in God's image. The Spirit of God lives within each person. Therefore, all people are inherently good. We create our life experiences through our way of thinking. Through prayer and meditation, we increase our conscious contact with God, bringing forth love, wisdom, health, prosperity, and everything good. Knowledge of these spiritual principles is not enough. We must live them. Another song. Spirit is in this place.
Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Oh, raise a room with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place.
Thank you. That was amazing. I think we had a little shout out there to Devin for recommending that song. Thank you. That was great. Now it's time for our daily word today, which is inner peace. I think peace. I feel peace. I am peace. Peace lives in my heart. At the place within me where all appearances of separation dissolve, I feel only peace, only God, only oneness. This peace is always mine, part of my divine inheritance. I carry it with me through every experience, every moment of the day. Nothing can destroy or even disturb my peace when I invite the divine presence, the Christ of my being, to be my constant guide. A passing thought of fear, worry, or anger is a reminder to breathe, to release negative energy, to embrace peace. Please, would you all just take a breath with me now and release it on a sigh. I feel renewed when I meditate, enjoy a walk in a peaceful garden, or take a moment to appreciate natural beauty wherever I find it. My indwelling peace manifests all around me as beauty, harmony, and bliss. May the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless the people with peace. Psalm 29:11. And please, let's say our phrase, I think peace, I feel peace, I am peace, 3 times with me. I think peace, I feel peace, I am peace. I think peace, I feel peace, I am peace. I think peace, I feel peace, I am peace. And now it's time to bless the children. Let us remind ourselves, as if we don't when we see their faces, they are the face of God. In them, let us think peace, feel peace, see peace, surround them with peace, affirm peace, and do what is within our power to create peace. And so it is. Now it's time to set any prayer intentions that you have. Bring them to your mind, to your heart. Release them into the room. Release them through your heart, through the palms of your hand. There's a saying, many hands make light work, many hearts make it even lighter. Every heart on the planet, every soul there is, the Spirit of God within each, holds the cares, works through them. Release it to divine care and oneness. With love, as we have a song, I send my love. You may sing it along or just stay with your prayerful intention, whatever is most powerful for you.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the seas. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the seas. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me.
And so it is, and all things transformed again to their natural state of love, light, and peace. And for our meditation today, I would like to ask you to join me in a round of EFT tapping. If you've not done this before, you can watch to get the feel of it or just listen. It's an emotional freedom technique. You tap gently at certain meridian points on the body. It works with the meridian energy centers. It's proven to be 80% effective with things like releasing trauma and emotional distress. We start with negative statements, which are not with typical unity things, but the idea is to get cohesiveness through the whole system, through the fight or flight system, which happens below the conscious mind sometimes, so it can release any negative feelings that might be happening. Our actual vertebrae get stuck in positions you might not even be aware of. It can release some things there, and then we move to positive statements to get a cohesiveness in our energy and sending out peace worldwide for ourselves with this and healing. So we'll tap on certain points. Once you get the feel of it, I'll tell you what they are. It's very gentle. The brow point, outside, under eye, under nose, under mouth, under collarbones, underarm. Don't stress if you're hitting the exact right points. It will be good enough. Yeah. Certain points you can speak after me if you want, and certain points just be quiet and listen. If you don't want to speak the whole time, you can be fine. If you don't want to tap, that will be fine too. If, as I'm doing some of the opening statements that talk about anxiety, you can think of sending them to other people if you're not resonating with those feelings now. But it's about cohesive brain energy and healing. So we start with tapping on the side of the hand. I'll say things and then give you a chance to repeat afterwards if you like. Even though I'm feeling stressed about things happening in the Ukraine, the world, and my country. You may say that. I give myself permission to relax and feel safe now. Even though I may want to disengage and find an easy answer. It's safe to be in my heart and my body now. It's safe to be aware of other people in the world now. even though I can be so worried about the state of things. Even though my mind can whirl, wanting a reason to find sense or to fix things. I give myself permission to relax and feel safe now. Tapping on the brow point can feel so stressed. You can say that. Now the outside of the eye with what's happening. Tapping under the eye. What does it mean? Under the nose. I'm already exhausted from the last 2 years. Under the mouth. Now this. It seems like it never ends. Under the collarbone. All this anxiety. Under the arm, about everything going on in the world, in my own country. Top of the head, what's happening to us? Inside of the brow, it's safe to acknowledge my feelings and thoughts. Side of the eye, even if I'm tired or overwhelmed. Under my eye, even if I feel powerless. Under my nose, and with all of these feelings. Under the mouth, I choose to feel safe now. The collarbone, I choose to connect with my heart now. Under the arm, and begin to find calm in my body. Top of the head, feeling safe now. And now just listen and move through the brow points. You can keep tapping, but you don't need to repeat. Tapping on the brow point, feeling grounded and safe, and moving to the outside of the eye as you tap, preparing your energy to be a catalyst for change in the consciousness of the world. With every tap and breath, we align with the source of love and peace and forgiveness. And under the eye, opening to be a channel for source. Opening for divine healing to flow through us. Under the nose, these gentle taps and breaths invite more calm. Noticing your jaw loosen, your tongue softening, your shoulders dropping and relaxing. Tapping under your mouth as your body fills with the energy of love, hope, forgiveness, and peace. Under your collarbone, every cell vibrating with peace, feeling it in your heart, raising your energy and vibration. Preparing to be the catalyst for change, raising your consciousness with compassion under your arm, feeling connected, grounded, and safe. Feel it now. Top of the head, even more connected, grounded, and safe than you've ever felt. Feeling that now. The inside of your brow, ready to make a difference, sending peaceful feelings of unity with no specific attachment to how or why or who, allowing spirit to work out the details of this complicated world map outside of the eye, sending comfort to all of those in need under the eye, bathing the world with love and peace and forgiveness. Under the nose, you're doing amazing work, joined by so many others worldwide right now who are praying and meditating, collectively holding the consciousness of peace and love. Under the mouth, raising the consciousness of the world collectively now, under the collarbone, bathing everyone in love, peace, hope, and acceptance, feeling it in your body, radiating it outward from your heart, shifting the consciousness in the world. Under your arm, imagine peace through the soles of your feet into the earth, coming up through the earth into everyone else. Top of your head, feeling peace. Peace flowing up, around. Peace flows down. Peace, peace. Perfect peace. And let it go. This was taken from Nick Ortner. I got the basic idea for the script from him, who has an app called the Tapping Solution. Just to give you some ideas there. And as you stay in that energy of peace, we have another song that we can just listen to and enjoy, a solo, The Circle Game, written by Joni Mitchell that Mariko and Mila will perform for us.
Sorry if you were here early and you heard me make this joke already, but Joni Mitchell never met a standard guitar tuning that she liked, so we need a moment to make an adjustment. But yeah, I felt very drawn to this song for today because it just makes me think a lot about the seasonality of life, even though it feels a bit like we're stuck in perpetual winter here in Pittsburgh. We are thinking about spring, we are representing spring, and even winter is part of the carnival, the carousel of time, as Joni puts it. No carnivals, only carousels. Joni.
Yesterday, a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar, fearful when the sky was full of thunder, tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. Then the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like when you're older must appease him, and promises of someday make his dreams. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and around the circle game. 16 springs and 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turn to car wheels all through the town. They tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, till you drag your feet to slow those circles down. But the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. So the years go by and now the boy's 20. Though his dreams have lost some grandeur coming true, there'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams and plenty before that last revolving year is through. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. And go round and round and round in the circle game.
Thank you again. Just lovely. And now it's time to welcome Maryann up here to talk to us, deliver her message. Your church is your consciousness.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone, and good morning to everyone who's watching from home. I just want to say that the energy here today is just beautiful, and the music and the tapping and all of the experiences that we have together praying and feeling one another's love just pouring out. We extend it to every one of you at home and hope and know that you feel the same in your heart. Thank you, Maryann. Thank you, Marco, for the beautiful music today. We're introducing new music, new songs every week. It's so powerful. I hope you get a chance to come and check us out and hear it live. But I'd like to talk with you this morning on this topic of church. And when I put this together, the first thing that popped into my mind was, what do you think of? What do you think of when you hear the word church? A lot of times that image comes up in your mind of a building, perhaps a church that you knew even as a child, or a church that you went to with your parents or relatives. Does that pop into your head when you think of a church? Do you think of a religion? Do you think of a belief system? that you were raised with, or whatever ideas that come to your mind when you hear the word church. Is it a structure, or is it a group with whom you can identify as a church? So these are questions that came into my mind, and I decided that I wanted to present this message from two perspectives. One is a metaphysical understanding of church, and the other is a practical understanding of church, as in our church, our spiritual center. So let's begin first, shall we, with a description that is from Charles Fillmore, Unity co-founder, and he wrote this in the Revealing Word, that the word church is from the Greek word, and the Greek word church means the Lord's house. So Charles took this meaning of church, and this is what he said. The word church is derived from the Greek word meaning the Lord's house. The individual's consciousness is his Lord's house, and assembled within it are groups or aggregations of ideas, thought centers. Think about that. Our church is our consciousness, and assembled within it are ideas and thought processes. He went on to say, the spiritualized will carries to the different churches or thought centers the word of truth and builds them up into a knowledge of their perfection and divinity by training them in spiritual thinking. Let me go back to that. The spiritualized will. So you know, within ourselves, we have a divine power known as will. People call that willpower, but it's actually, in a unity perspective, it is one of our strengths. It's actually a gift that we have been given. It is will. And will is really nothing more than the power we have to choose, the power we have to decide, to direct, to dictate, to determine. That is our will. So when our will, which is inherent within us, becomes spiritualized, it is awakened, and it draws or directs the thought centers that are within our church or our consciousness. We have power within us. It is our will to direct our thought processes in truth, with a capital T. The interesting thing about will, which I wanted to add to this, because will can be utilized in positive and negative ways. Wouldn't you agree with that? If we have, for example, an underdeveloped will, we can have difficulty making decisions. We could be kind of wishy-washy, easily moved around and swayed by public opinion. If we have overdeveloped or egocentric will, that can result in being a very willful, bossy person. They exhibit a my way or the highway attitude. That's not any of us, I'm sure. Overdeveloped will can exhibit itself as being obstinate or being unwilling to listen to truth or to hear and discriminate truth when it becomes evident through our consciousness, through our thought centers. As they are awakened within our consciousness, we hear words of truth. We know what truth sounds like to us, and we can direct it through our will. Furthermore, I was thinking about Jesus' teaching on church. So many people will probably use the story in Matthew 16, to say that Jesus started a church. But did Jesus really start a church? No. He never set out and said, build a temple, worship me. I want you to come every Sunday. If you don't, big trouble, right? That was my teaching, being raised. I was told that if I did not attend, that would be sinful. But what did Jesus really mean? What was he talking about? He did use, according to Matthew, the word church. So let's look at this metaphysically. The story goes, Jesus is hanging out with his friends, disciples, and he's like, what do people say who I am? Who do you say that I am? And these disciples are sort of hem-hawing and talking, and he's like, well, some say you're like Moses, you're like Elijah, you're like the prophet that has somehow returned and come back. He said, but yes, Simon Peter, what do you say? Who do you say that I am? And you know what he said? You are the Son of the living God. You are the Son of the living God. You are the expression of God in form. God is living through you as a son and daughter, as a life expression. And Jesus was so pumped. He said, way to go, Peter, Simon Peter, you're on it. He said, blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah. You get it. He was very excited. And he said, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. Now think about that for a minute. He was so excited that Simon came up with this insight. Because why? It didn't come from a teacher, right? A priest or an elder. It came from within Simon Peter's consciousness. He said, flesh and blood never told you this. No one taught you this. It came from my Father in heaven. So what is that all about? Throughout his entire ministry, Jesus talked about heaven, a realm of being, right? The kingdom lies within you. It does not arrive with fanfare and bells and whistles. It is at hand. It is within you, the kingdom, Simon Peter. The kingdom within you is drawing truth into your consciousness, and you direct it with your will. You can choose. You can choose where to go. He said, on this rock, so this is back to this story, and this is where the church part comes in, that people have taken this line. He said, you are Peter, right? And upon this rock, I will build my church. What was he referring to as that rock? The rock was his understanding, was Simon Peter's knowing. That's the rock upon which we build our consciousness outward. And he went on to say, nothing can prevail against this. Nothing will prevail against this consciousness. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that what Robin was telling us also, and the music was teaching us, that we have the ability to go within our consciousness. When the events of the world swirl around us and we witness headlines and suffering, nothing can prevail against the truth that lies within you. That's where you go. That's his teaching right there. It wasn't about building a structure. It wasn't about bowing and genuflecting. It was about building consciousness. And he was talking about it 2,000 years ago, the same way that we are talking about it today. It's still applicable. And guess what? It will always be applicable, because we are infinite divine beings, and our consciousness is continuing to evolve and grow and expand. And we feel it in our hearts with joy. We feel it when we can be compassionate towards one another, when we can forgive each other, even in our errors, even in our sinfulness. We can look at that from a higher, conscious perspective. He went on in this same teaching. It was so rich, this teaching. He said this, I will give you the keys to this kingdom. Hello? Are we like on the edge of our seat? And here he's talking. I'm giving you keys. Wouldn't you want the keys to a brand new car? What if I said, I'm giving you keys. I have it parked outside. Who isn't going to pick up the keys and use them? He said, the keys to the kingdom are this. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. The keys, you see, are our thoughts, our affirmative thoughts and our denial thoughts. Our positive use of thought and language is a key to building up in our world what we desire to see. And our ability to deny what is false is our ability to loose it, to disengage, and to change it. Isn't that what we all desire? We grow our consciousness as individuals to expand the consciousness of this entire planet. That's why here at Unity we have our vision as being a spiritually awakened world that is flowing with divine love. How could this be possible? Through our own expansion, you see. We grow our consciousness outward, and then our world is transformed. St. Paul said this in his statement, do not be conformed to this world. Do you ever say that to yourself? When you witness things around you and they're sad and they're suffering, and it's not, I'm saying, put a blinder on and ignore it, pretend it isn't happening. No, just do not be conformed to it. Do not allow your consciousness to remain stuck in the mold of old paradigm thinking. We must grasp hold of the teaching of using these keys, right? The keys to the kingdom. So last night at about 3 a.m., I woke up. Does this ever happen to anyone? And you wake up and don't know why, really, but the next thing you know, there's sort of like a ticker tape of thinking that's running across my consciousness. Sometimes I feel like I have two going on at once. There's like a melody underneath, and then there's words on the top, and I'm like, and all of a sudden, it's like something draws you back into the realization that you have the power to choose, the will is there, and the deep breath coming in. To deny the power of all that. As we have in our unity principles, prayer and meditation heightens our conscious contact with the divine source. And so we move into our conscious contact. And as Louise Hay always said, you know, what she called that running anxiety. And it was so funny you used that word anxiety today in your meditation, Robin, because I thought this is a common event that probably was happening 2,000 years ago. People in a state of worry or anxiety. And Jesus is offering them the keys to the kingdom. That's the church he's talking about. The Christ world, the Christ mind. It's so coincidental that one of our members, our licensed unity teacher, Bobby Conifel-Scher, she gave me this book just last Sunday, and I picked it up here. And it talks about, I opened right to this page, Bobby. All right, here we go. The individual's consciousness is his Lord's house. The Church of Christ is first individual and then collective spiritual consciousness. The Church of Christ consists of all individuals who have developed the consciousness of truth, the consciousness of the Christ ideal, the consciousness of the Christ within. Secondly, this Church of Christ is an outer activity of mankind, right? What starts from the inner moves into the outer. We enter into the Church of Christ when we understand that God is spirit and that we are made in his image, unfolding in his likeness through embodiment of the spiritual ideals of life, love, power, intelligence, the ideals of all good, basic to true living. That's the Christ consciousness. That's the church that we are building here at Unity and in our life experiences. That's how we carry it out the door, right? Activating your thought processes. So I'm really excited to go to phase 2. Remember I said we're talking about metaphysical understanding of church. Now I want to go into taking this understanding and moving it into the practicality of our church, our, what we call it, spiritual center. And I know when you come into the space, it has a vibe. It has the tall, beautiful ceilings that resonate really great for music. But there is this spirituality, this spirit. When we worship here, we feel that interconnectivity of our church, of our community. And so I was asking myself, how do we apply these teachings of church consciousness? How do I grow my spiritual consciousness outward? And how do we create a spiritually awakened world? How do we grow our community? So a couple of weeks ago, someone left a magazine on the buffet called Yes. Have you ever heard of Yes magazine? Yeah, it's been out. It's been around for quite some time. So I, of course, took it home, and I started reading, and I came to this really interesting article about the tipping point. The tipping point, the 25% critical mass that is needed to make social changes. So we talk about building our consciousness and that it will affect the outer world. Historically, it's been believed that we need 51% to make a critical mass change. But that has been disproven through multiple research studies. It takes 25% to make a change. This has been studied by sociologists and psychologists throughout the years, and this article was written by a social scientist named Damon Santola at the University of Pennsylvania. He studied how social change happens. He said, if you want to change a culture or a social system, you need to understand the power of social networks. And he said, I'm not just talking about social media. Information and disease spread as simple contagions, requiring only one contact for transmission. But social change typically spreads as complex contagions, requiring multiple sources of social reinforcement to induce adoption. So here he's talking about this contagion thing. And synchronistically, I have been reading The Universal Christ by Richard Rohr. And one of his statements that he made, whatever we are living through, we are in it together. It is not a contest between us. We are good by one another's goodness. We are sinners by one another's sin. In other words, both love and sin are highly contagious. It's like, is that true? If we have negative words and thoughts and beliefs, are they contagious? If we have loving ideals of truth and compassion and forgiveness and kindness, are they contagious? Social scientists said so. So I'd like to show you a graph image, if Mac up there in technology could put that magical Mac. I hope you can see this. Mainly I want you to look at the red graph dots, if you will. Look at the one on the far right. There's one single dot, and that one dot is shooting out to contact or to connect, to have social ties, it says. Social ties that are weak look like that one individual dot who is trying its best to communicate outward, right? Passing information. Information on that system travels quickly, but not persuasion. The system that works best is when you have multiple individuals represented by those red dots, and those multiple individuals are connecting and tying to each other. And so then your pathways form a foundation of cooperation, solidarity, there is trust, there is intimacy. I was thinking about our own community here at Unity. It is not about one person in the center pushing out information, right? It is about a sharing, a collaborative sharing, bringing a drum to music, to sing along, standing at the door as a greeter, forming a committee for fundraising. All of these events, all of the board of trustees, we talked about this at the board the other month, last month, and it was so powerful to see ourselves in this collaborative way. And I saw a quote by Carol Burbank, who wrote it in The Science of Mind this month. She said, "Greedy leaders seize and hoard energy. Generous leaders create and bestow energy. Both burn out, unbalanced. Great leaders rest in love, knowing their own needs and the needs of others are part of one great song." That's what I saw in that image. You know, because I was thinking to myself, when I found Unity back in the 90s, the size of our congregation has pretty much maintained itself. So I did some research. I went back to 2018, right before we moved here to this address. And at that time, we had 30 members. 2019, we had 39 members. 2020, we had 28 members. 2021, we had 34 members. First of all, I'd like to give it a big clap. Because to get through this pandemic and wind up with the same number of members is absolutely phenomenal. Think about it. Other organizations, businesses, churches have closed their doors, and we have not. We are strong. We are a collaborative group. But I want to share another thing with you. Every week, our magnificent office manager / vocalist musician, Mariko, sends out the email blast, inviting everyone to either come or watch. And you know, she sends out approximately 400, roughly 380 something, right, Mariko? Let's just round it up, because I have simple math skills. So say 400 emails go out. What would happen if we hit the critical mass of 25% of those individuals became members? we would have 100 members. That's pretty rich, right? We've been hanging in the 30s for a while now, but now we feel our consciousness is growing and expanding because of the events that we have all been through together collectively. People around the world, people in our spiritual community are drawing inward to truth with a capital T. And that spiritualized awakening is all happening. It is happening to you and to me and to everyone in our radius. So I'd like to change to the second slide. As I promised, my last graph. Are you up there, Mac? Mac? Thank you, Mac. All right. Page 2. Here we go. I'm visualizing us as this growing collective of members. And I'm visualizing us moving back and forth, communicating with other groups, other spiritual organizations. Do you know that in Pittsburgh and the surrounding community, there are many pockets of spiritual organization groups, all of which have perhaps 30 members, or 40 members, or 15, or 20. There are many like us, like-minded spiritual seekers. And those seekers go to their little clusters, their little individualized groups, and pray and meditate and worship and celebrate, right? And use affirmative language and bring more wholeness and goodness into this world. What if our growing community collaborated and moved within those networks? People, I guess, call that networking. I don't know. I don't have that business sense. But I just feel that it has the potential to expand and to grow. The Christ consciousness is what I'm talking about. Growing. That's what we're doing. It isn't so much about building a huge church mausoleum, although once we get to be 100 or 200 strong, we'll have to grow. We'll have to find a new space. And that's okay too. But what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about healing. I'm talking about healing the planet. Talking about the heart of humanity, feeling the love that you and I are carrying and growing and awakening in it. That's what we're all about, isn't it? Right? Yeah. I'm going to finish with one more quote, and this is also from Science of Mind, Reverend David Alexander. He said, "It is up to you and me right now in this very moment to set a new standard of excellence for ourselves." And we do so. We do so in our words and in our thoughts, in our awakening consciousness. And I thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Maryann. Now it is time for our prosperity practice. If you could take your tithes out and hold them in your hand. If you aren't here in person, or if you've already tithed online or for the month, just keep the idea in mind of flow moving through us, energy multiplying. And if you would join me in our prayer of gratitude, together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. And as those are collected, let's sing another song, God is my source.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Thank you. Again, we have some quick announcements. We have an annual membership meeting coming up in person for the first time in 2 years on May 15th. Thank you. At 12:30, we'll have fellowship. After, we'll have an actual potluck. We'll have some food. After the service, Beth Kukucha will be speaking that day. She's a wonderful photographer, guest speaker. Please join us. Remember to complete a membership application if you haven't already, to get it into us beforehand, before our membership, our board meeting on April 18th, so we can vote on you. That way you can have a vote at that board meeting. But please, you can become a member anytime. Don't let that dissuade you from coming to that annual meeting. We're looking for board members. We would like to get the board back up to 6. So please apply to be an active board membership. It's 1 meeting a month, sometimes 2 hours. It's really great, a great way to get to know people. It's not overwhelming. We reach in and hold each other up when you're getting overwhelmed and busy. Yeah, it's really a great way to make a difference. So I hope you will consider doing that. Please see me afterwards. We should have applications we can get to you to fill out if you're interested. And you can serve how you are able to serve. Hang out with me, Maryann. And Ronnie, and so you know, it's a really a great way. Tricia, great. Am I missing things? Okay. If you would, again, thank you, Maryann. Thank you, Mac, in the booth. Thank you, everyone at home, for joining us. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Mila. And join me, please, in our closing prayer. The love of God surrounds us. Oh, I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks for joining us.